Okay, so here's the deal. Yesterday in Bangkok, we executed part of what has been a very long-term plan of mine, especially since we committed to moving to Thailand, is getting a small collection of tortoises.
I like turtles.
So I've been back and forth on the type and the size and all the other factors that go into getting tortoises, but settled on these Sulcata tortoises. When I say these, we got one big male, which is this fella here, and then there are two females. The male has been super active this morning. They hunkered down last night. I just kept them in some small totes overnight, hunkered down, but the male has been up and at 'em, eating, cruising around like he's owned the place for years. The ladies are way over here sitting in the grass, and they really have not come out of their shells at all. So nothing alarming, that's to be expected, and we'll give them a little time to settle in and get used to their what will be permanent enclosure, and I'm sure they will be as outgoing soon as they were when we got them in Bangkok. The people that we bought them from are located in a place called Chatuchak Market, and it is pretty famous, or infamous, I think it's probably the right word. There are just an overwhelming amount of animal dealers packed into this, what is a huge sprawling market of all types of goods, whether, you know, whatever, you name it, it's there. Dry goods, food, handicraft stuff, electronics, and there is an absolutely massive pet section, pet and animal section. Everything from just tons and tons of fish tanks to reptiles to birds and mammals, dogs, cats, and then some really weird exotic stuff. And a lot of it was not kept in great conditions at all, and a lot of the animals being sold there, it was really sad to see because they're just terrible pets, right? So I think a lot of these are impulse buys, or I don't know what they are, but everything from like meerkats, so it's those super cute meerkats, adults, babies, which are very cute, especially when you dress them up in little clothes, and cute little babies, but they do not do well as pets. They are very social creatures, so if you just buy one, yeah, they're great when they're babies, but then they really get stressed out as they get older, and as I understand it, they get really destructive, and whether it's outwardly destructive to property or self-destructive because they're just stressed out to themselves. So bad situation. I just don't see a meerkat being a great thing for the ordinary person to own under any circumstances. And then in addition to that, there were like raccoons, which same story, start out cute but turn into terrible pets. Skunks, which are cool pets, but like not for most people. Wallabies, monkeys, stuff that was really sad to see. And it wasn't all bad. There were some, there's hundreds and hundreds of vendors there. So there were some that were, especially on the reptile side, there were some that were really good. You could tell they're really professional, really cared about their animals, nice, clean, adequate setups for everything, really, really nice. And then, you know, the stuff that was not so nice and everything in between. So we spent the day there yesterday shopping, and I've been shopping online and communicating with breeders and dealers and trying to zero in on what we were going to get. So I'd almost given up yesterday walking around Chatuchak because I just couldn't find anything. Either the prices were absurd, or what bothered me more is a lot of the conditions of the animals were not great at all, and I didn't want to support. It was bad enough that I was there already at that market. You know, that's, I guess, arguable, debatable, whether I should even patronize that market in general, but I certainly didn't want to give my money to somebody who did not appear to be taking care of the animals and just kind of perpetuate what is already a bad situation. So I had really been discouraged throughout the day. I just couldn't find anything that really made sense. And just as we were about to leave, walked into a shop and met the couple that owned it and ran it, and really clean shop, great selection of tortoises. Everything appeared very healthy, clean, well cared for. Stark contrast to some of the other things that we had seen there. And in the shop, really small shop, they had a trio of large Sulcata tortoises. So there was one male, two females, and immediately all three of them very friendly. Their heads are out. You could pet them. They were not skittish at all. So you could tell they've been very well socialized, super robust and healthy looking. And all three of them are captive born and raised. So, and you can tell just by the size of these tortoises that they've been raised well. If a baby tortoise is raised, especially these Sulcatas, raised in captivity, and you know, when they're young, the humidity is not set properly and their diet is lacking, they will get really bumpy shells, which is just an indication of poor husbandry. But these all have very nice shells, very good body weight, really look healthy. We were able to feed them all right there. So like everything that you want to see when you're buying an animal, or especially a tortoise, like these checked all the boxes. So definitely spent a little more than I had intended to when I started the shopping trip yesterday, but I think we got a really good trio of animals and really excited about having them here. So our two ladies here, are much more reserved this morning than that psychopath that we just met. This one has not come out of her shell yet. This one has just stuck her neck out. I think she's really enjoying that morning sun. Both of these females have laid eggs already historically, so which is not uncommon. I mean, these things kind of breed like rabbits as far as the tortoise world is concerned. So I would expect them to continue to lay eggs here. The male, so far, from what I've seen, is more than eager to try and fertilize these females any chance he possibly gets. So they've got their work cut out for them. Tortoise is on the move. Tortoise is on the move. Okay, think they climb out? No? No? It's okay? Okay. All right. For a long ride, guys. He doesn't seem the least bit phased by his new environment, huh? It's just like, yep, snack, I'll take it. Yeah, it's good right now. They're not supposed to have a ton of fruit.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I also want them to walk away from you.
Yeah, he's good. All right, welcome home, buddy. Got a sleepy boy here. He spent the first night in the tub here in the kitchen, and he has been zonked right out. Long day for him. All right, so Pinky and I, my beautiful wife, who puts up with my just intense craziness sometimes, is here with me, not just sometimes, all the time, is here with me at this like concrete, I don't know what you call this place, a foundry, like they're making concrete stuff here. And what we're trying to do is we now have 3 giant tortoises living in small tubs because in typical me fashion, I got the tortoises before I had the proper enclosure. I had some ideas, but I don't have the thing built out yet. And because we are still unsure what we're going to do with the overall property in terms of fencing and chicken coops and other stuff, I'm hesitant to build anything super permanent for these tortoises, but clearly they can't live in tubs indefinitely. So here trying to cobble together some kind of makeshift fencing material that will keep the tortoises enclosed and then also keep the street dogs out. They together are not a good mix. So trying to come up with something here. performance under pressure. Brought home these 3 Sulcatas last night and did not have an adequate pen built. So day 1 of Sulcata companionship, and they have a place to sleep tonight that should be secure. Let's hope they're here in the morning when I wake up. I got 26 of these bad boys. They are, let me see, 1 meter by ½ meter concrete tubes. I don't even know what the actual use for these things are. After I think maybe for a septic system here or something, but 26 of these freaking things delivered on a truck, winched down into the yard, and then I rolled and set these things in place. So Sulcatas, if you're not aware, are like little bulldozers. They are tremendously strong and extremely persistent. So they will just, through brute force and determination, just wedge themselves in a crevice, under a crevice. They'll dig down and they will use their incredible strength to find something, just to find a little wiggle and keep working it and keep working it until they can knock something over and then break their way through. If they can see anything on the other side of their barrier, that makes it worse. They're just gonna, that'll make them drive to get to whatever they can see. So I'm definitely not finished with this enclosure. I got these cylinders as tight as I can, but there still is some daylight between a couple of them, and as the soil settles, there'll be more daylight that opens up, which is just going to be incentive for them to want to crash through and break out. So I'm going to have to cover that with something, maybe even I don't know, shade cloth on either the inside or the outside, just so it gives them a visual barrier. And then I also have this little shed which is attached to the house. Excuse the paint job. The whole house needs to be painted. I went through and chipped off all the flaking paint, but yes, that absolutely needs to be addressed. But tortoises are here, so we're dealing with these guys today. That shed is going to be their like hideout area, especially during the rainy season. Gives them an elevated, dry place to hang out and be dry and safe, which is what they want. These are desert species, so they do actually thrive really well in central Thailand climate, but they have to have a place to get out of the rain during the rainy season. But I need to further reinforce the inside of that shed. I had it open earlier, and the big guy here was already in, as Sulcatas do, trying to push his way in the corner and just muscle his way to break something. So I've got some plywood here that's on the ground. I'm going to reinforce that tomorrow, and I've also got some chain link fence that needs to be put down with some pavers on it and weighted with some and buried under soil, and that's going to help prevent them from digging their way out. So these guys are absolute escape artists, so you've got to design and engineer this thing like elephant grade, or they will escape. Hey, day 3 of tortoise companionship, and I'm out here just before sunset. Have been working for the past 2 days building out this enclosure for them. This is what I have constructed here. Now I've got limited supplies in the village, so I kind of had to source what I could that would make sense. These stones, these pavers, whatever they are, I don't know what those things weigh, but they are super heavy. So I carried and flopped all those into place, and made good use of our new truck today, that's for sure. I put 10 of those pavers in there and freighted that truck, and she cruised down the road like there was nothing back there. So pretty happy with that. I've got to get a couple more pavers to kind of round this out. And then I'm still trying to refine the gate system here. Got a coat of primer on this. I'll slap a fresh coat of paint on it tomorrow. And then in here is the kind of attached shed for the property that has now been converted to a tortoise house. So I had to come through and reinforce the walls with heavy duty plywood here because they would have just blown right through the siding that was on there. And he's already found a corner, and he's been working at that corner trying to get out, which I don't think he's going to have any success. But it's incredible how quickly they will identify the weakest point in any barrier and try like hell to get through there. So still a lot of work to be done here. We had some people over today to try and map out kind of a more permanent fence for these guys. Like, this is intended to be temporary. I want to build an actual like concrete wall, but I needed something quick, obviously, as we had a pile of tortoises and nowhere to put them. So this is intended to be temporary. So these concrete tubes are going to work for now. If it seems like I'm going to be keeping them for any amount of time, I will paint them. They look horrible, admittedly. I mean, they're just absolutely industrial eyesores, but I don't know. I think with a coat of paint, they might look a little better. And even if I were to fill some of these with dirt and plant some flowers or hibiscus or mulberry or something that the tortoises would actually eat, we could make this not as terrible looking as it is now. But tortoises certainly don't care. They're happy. They appear healthy. They've been eating a lot, which is great. I've been soaking them, making sure that they're staying hydrated. Yeah, I'm going to sit and catch the last little bit of sunset and watch my tortoises.
All right, you're a great zombie and good.